2 of the road trip to France, from the UK, France and back. I just wanted to give you an overview of the charging actually, so, and the costs and everything that built up to it. So I've put some information on the screen, hopefully you can see that, and it's recording nicely. But it gave us a subtotal for the charging of £138 or $183. That's including some home charging at the front end and the back end, and the high-powered charging that we've used through the journey. So I'm not going to go into the details, I'm just giving you the high-level numbers. So $182, £139. So pretty good overall. So we were relatively pleased with that. But there are other costs that you need to be aware of if you're doing a similar journey. So if you're traveling in France, you will need a critère. This is a pass, I guess the right way to describe it, to enable you to travel in low emission zones. So France has a number of cities that require a critère, relatively cheap, as you can see. It's only £5, about $7-ish. So if you're traveling from the UK into France, do your research, and it's probably just worth, for peace of mind, getting a critère. Tolls. Now this is the one that surprises the most. £127 or $173 just on tolls. It's nearly the same price that we paid for the energy for the vehicle, which is bonkers in my opinion. So if anyone from the UK government's listening, this is a source of revenue. You could be charging those that come in from Europe money to use our infrastructure, because we have to pay France to use their tolls. So in my opinion, it should be replicated. Anyway, I'm not here to do a party political broadcast. There's enough problems with politicians anyway now. So but this gave us a grand total of £271, or $368. I've converted that into a cost per mile, so 18 pence per mile, or 24 cents per mile. I think that's reasonable. Could you do it for cheaper if you had an efficient diesel car? Maybe. I'm not sure. But why don't you just plug the numbers in yourself on your own vehicle? You know the mileage that you do, or the miles per gallon that you can get from your vehicle, and you've got the other information like critère and tolls, and then you can do a cost per mile. So it'll be worth you having just a quick bit of analysis to see if it works out any cheaper using an electric vehicle or a petrol or diesel vehicle. Do let me know in the comments below, because I'd just be interested to see your own experience. So some concluding thoughts then. Tesla Model Y rear-wheel drive LFP 2023 is an absolutely fantastic car. You've heard this car statement before. It's the best we've ever had. It is for us because we generally have slightly older cars or less luxurious cars, but for us, cracking vehicle. If you've got one, if you've got a Tesla, you know what I'm talking about. In my opinion, in the UK, you do not need a long-range vehicle. This is my opinion. It will give you a warm feeling, but it comes at a cost, and I don't think the cost is justified. Again, this is my opinion. As an example, why I've come to that statement is that most of the time the charger was ready before we were. There were a number of times when we were in the supermarket and we were just having to wait. So, the charger was waiting for us, not we were waiting for the charger. There was only one occasion where we actually had to wait, and that was at the very, very end. And the supermarkets were actually closed on that day, so that was the only reason. Electriverse app. For those that are in the UK, and you haven't got an electroverse app, you do need to, and if you're looking to travel in Europe, it will make your life so much easier if you have an electroverse app. For those that are not in the UK, electroverse are owned by a company called Octopus, and Octopus are electric energy providers that most people, I don't know the actual percentage, but most people with EVs tend to switch to. Really good company, excellent customer service. The app's very easy to use. Payment is just you load your details up and it's got it, and it's just seamless transition. So if you're doing long distance traveling in the UK or looking to go abroad into Europe and you haven't got an electroverse, get an electroverse app. But I think one of the key points is whatever you go for, you will be pleased that you've made the transition to an EV from an ICE vehicle. I can't see us ever moving back to a petrol or a diesel vehicle. It's certainly so much easier with an EV. But the point is, you decide what's important for you. I can give you my opinion, but the more you've experienced, the more I've experienced using EVs, the easier it is for me to work and understand how it all operates. I think the industry as a whole has been really rubbish at supporting the public in transitioning to an electric vehicles. The service at I'm not going to name the companies, but it's not a Tesla. When I go in and ask questions, the salesmen have been shocking. They don't understand the basics of the vehicle. And so if there's anyone from an automobile manufacturer and you're looking to increase sales, do yourself a favour and undertake some level of assurance that the dealers understand what they are trying to sell, because in my opinion they're absolutely useless. Again, this is my opinion. That's it. That concludes it. Some concluding thoughts in there. I hope you've enjoyed the videos. Really grateful that you've taken some of your time to go through it. I don't know whether I'm going to do another EV video, but if it will be when it's more of an interesting type of scenario that I've not come across. There are lots of videos on there, but I just thought because it's such a long journey, it will provide you with some good information. That concludes part 2. Stay safe and see you on the next one. Thank you.